We fill these things out every single day. But do we really stop and think about the power behind them? I'm talking about online forms. And trust me, they're not just a bunch of boxes to fill out. They can be full-blown engines for sales, for data, and for automation. So in this explainer, we're going to unlock all that potential, from the most basic survey all the way up to legally binding contracts.
And let's be real, the stakes are super high. This quote here says it all. A bad form isn't just a minor annoyance, it's a business killer. It's that silent reason you lose a sale, or it's that one little overlooked detail that turns into a legal nightmare down the road. That's exactly why choosing the right tool isn't just some tech decision, it's a huge strategic one.
So how do we dodge those bullets and actually get it right? Well, we're going to break it all down. First up, we'll define what actually makes a form good. Then we'll start with the free and easy tools you've probably already used. From there, we'll level up to the big guns, the ones that handle payments and make you look super professional. We'll even dive into some special cases like sales funnels and legal waivers. And then finally, I'll give you a simple framework so you can pick the perfect tool for whatever you're trying to do.
So first things first, what actually separates a good form from a terrible one? Look, it's not just about getting somebody's email address, it's all about the experience. I mean, think about the last time you just gave up on a form because it was confusing or just felt kind of sketchy. A great form is the exact opposite. It's crystal clear, it makes you feel safe, and it just smoothly guides you right to that submit button.
And beyond just being easy, the best forms have a few secret weapons up their sleeve. We're talking about things like conditional logic. That's the magic that shows you different questions based on your previous answers. Then you have integrations, which is how your form automatically zaps data over to your other apps. And of course, you need customization to make it look like your brand, and analytics so you actually know what's working. These are the things that turn a simple box into a really smart automated tool.
Okay, so let's start where most of us do, with the free and simple stuff. These are your go-to tools when you need a form like right now, for a quick party RSVP or a simple poll for your team, and you don't have a budget to play with.
In this space, you've really got two heavyweights, Google Forms and Microsoft Forms. You can think of them like the reliable screwdrivers in your digital toolkit. Google Forms is absolutely king if your whole life is in the Google workspace. It's perfect for teachers, individuals, stuff like that. On the other hand, Microsoft Forms is really the corporate choice, especially if your company runs on Microsoft 365 and needs to worry about things like compliance and data privacy. For basic data collection, honestly, you can't go wrong with either.
But here's the thing, a screwdriver can't build a house, right? So what if you need to do more? What if you need to accept payments, or create a perfectly branded experience, or build a form that's so smart it almost feels like an app? For that, my friends, we need to level up to the power tools.
So let's talk about a power tool like JotForm. If Google Forms is the screwdriver, then JotForm is like the entire workshop. And the perfect example of that power? Just look at this number. Over 10,000 pre-designed templates. That means you're almost never starting from scratch. Whether you need a lead gen form or a complex event registration, you're starting with a professional foundation, which saves a ridiculous amount of time.
And the features go way, way beyond just templates. We're talking about really advanced logic that can guide a user through a super complex application. We're talking about seamless payment integrations with PayPal, Stripe, you name it, so you can get paid directly through your form. And this is huge. For industries like healthcare, you have features to support HIPAA compliance. That's the law that protects sensitive patient data, so that's a really big deal. These tools are built for serious business challenges.
All right, now let's get into some of the really specialized stuff. Because sometimes a form needs to be way more than just a form. Sometimes it needs to be an interactive sales machine or even a legally binding contract. So what in the world is a funnel? Well, a tool like InvolveMe is a perfect example. Instead of hitting you with a giant, intimidating list of 20 questions all at once, a funnel turns the form into a conversation. It asks you one little thing at a time, kind of like a quiz. This feels way less overwhelming and a lot more engaging, which is exactly why it's so good at getting people to actually finish a sales inquiry or an event sign-up.
This brings us to a really, really important question that a lot of organizations have, especially nonprofits or anyone organizing an event. Can you actually use a simple tool like Google Forms for something as serious as a liability waiver? The answer is actually pretty surprising. It's yes, but, and this is a huge but, it's only legally valid if you set it up in a very specific way. So what does that actually mean? What do you have to do?
There are 4 things that are totally non-negotiable. First, clear notice. The person signing has to see exactly what they're agreeing to, no hidden text. Second, affirmative action. They have to actively do something, like checking an I agree box to show they consent. Just hitting the submit button is not enough. Third, you need a secure record, basically an unchangeable receipt of their agreement with a timestamp. And finally, the whole thing has to comply with local e-signature laws, like e-sign in the US.
Okay, we've gone all the way from simple surveys to complex legal documents. Phew. So now for the most important part. How in the world do you choose the right tool for your project? Let's make it easy with a simple framework.
Honestly, it really just boils down to your main goal. If you need something quick, free, and simple, just stick with Google or Microsoft Forms. If you need that professional branding, you need to take payments, you need advanced logic, then you're going to want a power tool like JotForm. If your number one goal is getting more signups or more sales leads, then a funnel builder like InvolveMe is probably the way to go. And for anything legally binding, you either need a specialized tool with signature features, or you have to triple-check that your form meets every single one of those legal requirements we just talked about.
And hey, to make it even easier for you, here's a quick checklist. Are you a nonprofit? Then you absolutely need easy-to-use donation features. A B2B sales team? Then CRM integration is a must-have. Running a huge event? Make sure you have rock-solid registration and payment tools. And if you handle any kind of sensitive data, I'm talking healthcare, finance, whatever, then compliance features have to be your number one priority. Period.
So, at the end of the day, here's the big takeaway. An online form is never, ever just a form. It's your first handshake with a potential customer. It's the front door to your business. It is a critical interaction. So the real question isn't just which tool should I use. It's what story is my form going to tell? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.